Long ago, it was said, there are no roads in Russia, only directions. Ultimately, that phrase is less about the state of Russia's roads than it is about the country's vast expanses and its nation's character. I start picking people up at 6:25 or 6:30, and by around 10 to 8, we're pulling up at the plant. Since time immemorial, entrepreneurial Russians have left the beaten path to go their own direction. BorMash. A direction for life. My parents worked at BorMash. My father spent practically his whole life there, working as a vice president, so I knew the plant. The BorMash plant is over 20 years old. Is that old or young? Depends on your perspective. But one thing is certain. Launching a new manufacturing enterprise in the late 90s took courage. We had to look for people willing to place orders with us in a pretty tough environment. Plus, there was a lot of competition. Our first order we shipped to Perm. It was for Perm-Nefteorgsynthese. We made a tube heat exchanger that we shipped there. Then we gradually transitioned to more complex products. Today we make products weighing over 100 tons, including enormous air cooling units for major gas pipelines. It was a hard time, and the firm had highly ambitious plans. It had to not only pull together professionals of the highest caliber, it had to create a lasting team. Our team is truly unique. We pieced it together bit by bit. A lot of people went off to sell things at markets. They moved to other towns, so specialists were in high demand. I basically grew up at this plant. I helped to build it with my own hands too. I never even thought of leaving for another plant, another factory. This place works for me. With the years, BorMash has made a name for itself. The company employs 400 workers. These are the people whose skill and professionalism ensure its success. So I sent some equipment off to Omsk, 2,500 kilometers away, over a week to get there. It got there, they started it up. It works. It's a great feeling. It'll work another 20 years, and at that point, we can replace it. Our workers are pretty highly trained. If one of us sees a weak spot in our technology, we'll absolutely point it out. We'll address it and keep improving along with our workers, our technicians, meaning we ensure even higher quality. You can go to any supervisor with any issue without being afraid of, oh, they're a supervisor and you're their subordinate. You can take that problem straight up to the CEO. The average age of workers at the factory today is 40 to 45. They keep developing, and our factory keeps expanding. We really like it when people get an education and go from being just workers to foremen, develop as professionals, and keep moving up. Our people keep the factory expanding and growing, and that requires human resources. The plant is always in need of young professionals, and they want to work here. BorMash was happy to have us, and we had a really great time interning here. Learned a lot. Not all factories, I'd say, can offer the information they provide here. Well, not so much the information, the opportunities. That made an impact on my future. BorMash likes having university students. Compared to other companies, you could say the salaries here are high. Lots of people get a chance to travel. We literally each have a parking space for our cars. Today, BorMash delivers complex manufacturing equipment for companies including Rosneft, Gazprom, Lukoil, Surgutneftegas, Sibur Holding, Novatek, and many more. Our products are used for Euro 4 and Euro 5 petrol. That means it's firstly environmentally friendly, and secondly high-quality fuel that doesn't pollute. Our scope today is broad, including Kazakhstan and Belarus. We're currently working with the UAE, so we have to keep improving. Practically every month we get inspections from Gazprom or Lukoil, and if we used to prepare for their visits, today the plant is organized so that they can come in any day at all, and there'll be no issues. The fleet of equipment we have today and our professionals, I think they're some of the best in Voronezh region and maybe in Russia. This plant might seem to be just one of many similar ones. So what's the key to its success? What makes the difference? The people? The technology? The management? Perhaps it's all about the approach, the direction that the owner steers the company in, what he sees as its goals and development strategy, what means of achieving those he chooses. If you take the testing laboratory, for example, not every plant's lab can boast this supply of essential, modern equipment. Things today can be hard, really hard. We get a lot of missed payments. Nowadays, almost no one pays up front. So we have to use leasing arrangements and other kinds of lending where necessary. We have a stable work pipeline. The results? Today, BorMash designs new manufacturing equipment in-house and upgrades existing equipment. The company also collaborates with the petrochemical industry's leading engineering institutes. The company's supply department currently fills orders involving dozens of grades of steel, including high alloy steel. The equipment field in Russia is very competitive. Our plant develops and studies new trends, incorporating new grades of steel in our products. A lot of companies, international ones that produce the same type of equipment as us, they have a presence in Russia as well. They often come to our plant asking us to produce one equipment component or another. That shows that the quality of our equipment is in no way lower than abroad. But being no worse than others isn't enough for BorMash. We constantly raise the bar. We need to be the best at everything. Some parts and units are impossible to make in Russia. The technology's lacking or lost, so we source them abroad and mount some of these components on our machines. Are we behind anyone in any way? No. The factory staff not only carefully supervise work on the line, they are capable of reaching ambitious targets. It's called project thinking. It's why we have a broader planning horizon and treat people differently. The real live botanical garden on our grounds isn't just nice landscaping, it's part of an inviting environment for workers. When you get to work, instead of seeing, as they say, scorched earth that's been paved over, you get a lovely pond, beautiful flowers, beautiful trees. That puts people in the mood and gives them the attitude of wanting to go to work. It turns out paying employees competitive salaries isn't enough. Bringing the grounds to life and being socially responsible are part of the job too, an important one. Our CEO is one of a kind, and as a local resident, I especially want to thank him for what he's done for the village. It's a huge bonus that he's building up this plant in our village. Any important public issues that come up, we always get involved, whether it's building preschools, landscaping parks, beautifying the city centre of Borysaglebsk or the village of Pisky, building the church that we built here. We take on a lot of responsibility for public welfare. I won't reveal the exact numbers, but my guess is that at least 10% of what we make, we spend on public service projects. Our clients and colleagues speak to the quality of our work. In 2019, BorMash took first place in the air cooling unit category in the rankings of oil and gas refining equipment manufacturers at the 9th Annual Modernization of Oil and Gas Refining Facilities Conference. These 20 years tell quite a story of important accomplishments, tricky problems solved, and constant growth. It is a success story about a common cause, a cause known as BorMash. I would like to wish my hometown plant success and prosperity. I hope every day here will be enjoyable, that people will be truly happy coming to work, that the company stays profitable for me, for the people, for the government, and for Russia.